For centuries, the Galactic Council stood as the ultimate symbol of order. Worlds rose and fell beneath its banners, species joined its ranks, and peace, at least the version approved by the Council, spread through the stars. But peace built on arrogance was never meant to last. When humanity joined the Council, the galaxy barely noticed. Humans were young, untested, and from a world dismissed as primitive. Their technology lagged behind the great empires. Their population was small compared to the teeming hives of the Krell or the sprawling colonies of the Tharun. Yet there was something in them that unsettled the old species, something quiet, stubborn, and dangerous. At first, humans listened. They learned, traded, and adapted. Their representatives spoke carefully, asking questions others were too proud to ask. They worked hard, shared innovations freely, and never sought special treatment. The Council saw them as useful but unimportant, a servant race eager to please. Then in time, humanity began to rise. Their ships grew faster. Their science advanced at a pace that left the Council's researchers baffled. Worlds that once mocked them now bought human designs. And still humans asked for nothing but respect, which the Council refused to give. The arrogance of the ancient powers was deep. They saw humans as fortunate guests, not equals. Whenever humans questioned unfair laws, they were silenced with polite scorn. When they proposed reforms, their words were ignored. And when they defended weaker worlds from exploitation, they were warned to remember their place. Then came the vote. It was a routine session at first. The great chamber of the Galactic Council floated in the endless dark, its spires glowing with quiet energy. Representatives from hundreds of species filled the seats, some enormous and scaled, others delicate and feathered, still others formless and floating. In the center, the High Speaker called for order. The proposal on the table, a law demanding every member world surrender control of its defense fleets to the Council for unified protection. It was, in truth, a power grab. The major species would gain control of every weapon across the stars. No more independence. No more resistance. No more small worlds defying their decrees. Most voted yes. Humanity voted no. The chamber fell silent. The human envoy, a tall figure in a simple uniform, stood alone among the gleaming thrones. The envoy's voice carried no anger, only calm certainty. Earth will not surrender its right to defend itself. Laughter rippled through the seats. Some called it foolish. Others whispered that humans were emotional, primitive. The High Speaker banged the gavel and declared the motion passed. "Then you will obey," the speaker said. The envoy shook their heads slowly. "Then we will leave." The words hung in the air like a blade. At first, no one believed it. No species had ever withdrawn from the Council. The idea was unthinkable. The Council was the galaxy itself. To leave it was to vanish into irrelevance. Yet the envoy gave no sign of jest. They turned, walked from the chamber, and were gone. Within a week, every human delegation was recalled. Within a month, human embassies were empty. Council ships that approached Earth's borders were turned away without explanation. Human trade ceased. The galaxy moved on, confident the species would return once they realized their mistake. But humanity did not return. Years passed, then decades. At first, the Council ignored the silence. But soon rumors began to spread. Rumors of vast construction at the edge of human space. Stations larger than cities. Fleets unlike any the Council had seen. Energy readings that defied known science. The Council sent envoys, scientists, even spies. None came back. Then, slowly, humanity disappeared from sight altogether. Communications went dark. Trade routes collapsed. The stars once governed by human colonies fell silent. The Council told itself that humanity had failed, that they had fallen into chaos without the guiding hand of galactic order. The official record declared Earth non-compliant and erased it from the roster of recognized worlds. Life moved on. 100 years later, the galaxy changed again. A new threat rose from beyond the spiral rim. They called themselves the Vran Collective, a swarm intelligence that consumed worlds whole. Planet after planet fell, their cities devoured by gray storms of living metal. The Council, long stagnant and proud, struggled to respond. Its fleets were fractured, its admirals divided by politics. The ancient powers blamed each other as world after world burned. Then someone remembered the humans. Desperation forced the Council to reach out. Messages were sent toward the coordinates of old Earth space. No reply came. They tried again, pleading for alliance, for aid, for anything. Still nothing. At last, a council vessel was dispatched to investigate. It crossed the borders of what was once human territory and stopped dead. Where once there had been colonies and starports, there was emptiness. No signals, no life, no light. Planets stood barren, their surfaces reshaped into cold glass. The stars themselves shimmered strangely, as if wrapped in unseen power. And at the heart of it all, Earth was gone. Not destroyed, gone. Where the planet had been was now a sphere of shimmering light, pulsing with quiet rhythm. Instruments failed to read it. Scanners burned out. The sphere seemed to hum with a frequency that spoke not in sound but in thought. The crew felt it deep inside their minds, a presence vast and patient. Then, for the first time in a century, a human voice spoke. "This territory is no longer part of your council." The words echoed through the ship's systems, though no transmission had been detected. The captain tried to respond, to plead for help, but no signal reached back. The voice continued. "You sought control. You called it unity. You mocked what you did not understand. We asked for respect. You demanded obedience. You wanted to command us, not to learn from us. Now you will learn what it means to be alone." The ship's crew recorded everything before the vessel vanished from contact. Weeks later, fragments of its logs reached the council, shaking its members to the core. Still, they denied the truth. Still, they pretended humanity had merely hidden, not transcended, until the Vrayan arrived. They came in endless waves, metal storms blotting out suns. Whole fleets dissolved under their advance. The council called upon every ally, every reserve, every desperate weapon. It was not enough. Systems fell by the day. Then, without warning, the Vrayan stopped. Scouts reported strange readings at the galactic rim, massive distortions in gravity and light. Sensors failed to explain them. Then, from that dark frontier, they came, human ships. But these were not the vessels the council remembered. They were vast, silent, geometric, black holes without seams. They moved not with thrusters, but by bending space itself. Their presence distorted the stars around them. At their head came one ship larger than any moon, its surface rippling with impossible energy. The council watched in silence as those ships met the Vrayan armada. There was no battle in the old sense. No exchange of fire, no maneuvers. The human ships pulsed once and the Vrayan fleet disintegrated. Not exploded, not destroyed, erased. The swarm's endless signal went dark. Then the humans spoke again. Their words transmitted across the entire galactic network. The council once sought to rule through fear. It forgot that strength comes not from control but from purpose. We have grown beyond your reach. We no longer seek your permission. The galaxy will decide its own fate, and with that the signal ended. The ships turned, vanished into the light, and were gone. Silence followed. Worlds waited for humanity to strike again, to demand surrender, to claim dominion. But no new orders came. No fleets invaded. Only emptiness remained. Centuries passed and legends grew. Some said humanity had ascended beyond matter itself. Others claimed they guarded the edges of creation, watching quietly. A few believed they would return when the galaxy was ready. But in the council halls, where the old species still debated and blamed, a shadow lingered. They remembered the day humanity left and how in their arrogance they laughed. They had thought Earth would beg to return. Instead, the galaxy was left to crumble under its own pride. And sometimes, in the deep of night, when the stars flickered strangely and the air hummed with faint vibration, old veterans swore they could hear a voice, calm, human, watching, a whisper that carried both warning and promise. We asked for respect. You chose arrogance. Now you will learn what it means to be without us. The council's flag still hung in their chambers, faded and brittle. Their fleets still patrolled dying systems. Their laws still echoed through hollow worlds. But the heart of the galaxy had grown quiet, for in the end, it was not war that broke the council. It was the silence of humanity, the silence that followed their departure, the silence that said everything words never could. And across the cold expanse of the void where Earth once was, the light still pulsed, steady, eternal, waiting.